This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you're feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I'm doing a late night show. I know I haven't been on in a while. It's been choppy for me to get on when I really want to get on. Cause like right now, you can see I'm not in the studio. I'm away at a retreat. But hey, we're gonna do what we do, man. And my question for the night, and don't bother calling in, folks. I do not have my phone system connected right now. So, that's a gimmick, what you see at the top of your screen. If you call in, not going to be able to get to you. All right. But, we're just going to talk some Knicks. I got a couple of topics we want to talk about. Then, whatever you talk about in the chat, we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? I guess the first one, though, is Jaylen Brown's contract. Did Jaylen Brown's contract set a bar for the Knicks front office? Most people are going to say, nah, you're bugging. You're crazy. And I probably agree with you. You know what I'm saying? There's not a player on the New York Knicks that I think deserves to make $304 million. Not even Jalen Brunson. Not right now. I mean, listen, I don't even want to say not right now. There's only maybe 2 players in the league that I think should be making $304 million. Jaylen Brown isn't one of them. But what are you going to do? I mean, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Jaylen Brown, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen the contract, this is what the contract looks like. It's a crazy contract. No doubt about it. It's a wild contract. He makes $52.3 million in 24-25. He makes $56.5 million in 25-26. He makes $60.7 million in 26-27. He makes $64.9 million in 27-28 and $69.1 million in 28-29. It's a lot of dough. $304 million, signs a supermax deal with the Boston Celtics. How this impacts the Celtics and their future is one thing. You know what I'm saying? But how does this pertain to the Knicks? We got future contracts to look at. Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, they're going to be up for a contract at the end of 24-25, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to be up for a contract. But this is a crazy contract. We're going to talk about that, folks. But this is a wild contract for Jaylen Brown. The richest contract in NBA history so far in NBA history. It's crazy. I mean, listen. And look, if you look at 28-29, he almost makes $70 million. $69,125,872.20. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? If I'm Jaylen Brown, I want my 20 cents too. I don't care. I want my 20 cents. Celtics try to jip me for my 20 cents. We're going to have some issues. It's a crazy contract. Crazy contract, but listen. When you look at the numbers that Jaylen Brown averaged during the regular season, and when you look at his accolades and you compare it to Julius Randle, I mean, the numbers are very comparable, ladies and gentlemen. right? Very comparable. And I know Jaylen Brown has played on a championship contending team for the last however many years. I get all of that. I understand that. 26.6 points per game, 6.9 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 49.1% from the field, 33.5% from the three-point line. Those are Jaylen Brown's numbers in 22-23. For his career, he averages 17.9 points, 5.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists, shooting 47.7% from the field, 36.5% from three. That's what he averages for his career, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now Julius Randle, his numbers aren't far off. 25.1 points per game, 10 rebounds a game, 4.1 assists, 45.9% from the field, 34.3% from three, 75.7% from the free throw line. For his career, he's averaging 18.7 points per game, 9.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists. Right, but it's the last 3 years that is currently defining Julius Randle's career. Right? 2 All-NBA selections, 2 All-Star selections, been to the playoffs twice, only advanced to the second round, hasn't performed well in the playoffs. Not at all. All right, but comparable statistics Julius Randle has. And I'm not saying Julius Randle is going to make $304 million. What I'm saying is when Julius Randle is up for a contract, and we're going to read off Jaylen Brunson's numbers as well, but when Julius Randle is up for a contract in a year, all right, because he has a player option at the end of 24-25, just like Jaylen Brunson, what do you think they're going to look at? They're going to look at Jaylen Brown. If Julius Randle makes the All-Star team again next year, makes an All-NBA team again next year, he's going to look and say, look at what this guy just got. My numbers are comparable. So maybe I'm not worth $304 million, but maybe I'm worth $285 million. Or maybe I'm worth $265 million or something like that. You know? Jaylen Brunson, same thing. Obviously, Jaylen Brunson hasn't averaged for many years what he did last season, because this is his first time, being in the situation that he was in. But last season, Jaylen Brunson, 24 points a game, 3.5 rebounds a game, 6.2 assists per game, shot 49.1% from the field and 41.6% from the three-point line. Let me tell you something. If Jaylen Brunson continues this type of output, if he continues to shoot the ball the way that he shot the ball last season, 49.1% from the field, 41.6% from the three-point line, 82.9% from the free throw line. Listen, and things are going to get easier for Jaylen Brunson next season. He's going to get even more touches next season. I mean, there are people out there that say what you're seeing in the playoffs from Jaylen Brunson might be what you see during the regular season. And I'm not saying he's going to average 40 a game or high 30s a game, but this man might be at 28, 29 points per game. In the playoffs, he averaged 27.8 points per game. Shot 47.4% from the field. He shot 32% from the three-point line. If Jaylen Brunson gets the type of touches that he did in the playoffs, if he shoots the ball 21 times a game like he did in the playoffs, he'll average 27, 28 points per game. I don't know if that's what we want from Jaylen Brunson. That's not even the argument here right now. If that's what he's want, that's not the argument. If he does play like that, this man might be in line for a similar payday. For a similar payday, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he too, 24, 25, both of these guys, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, have player options at the end of 24-25. And if they both continue to play at the level that they're playing, what's going to stop them from receiving a contract a little bit less than what Jaylen Brown just received? You know what I mean? The only thing that'll stop them, in my opinion, is winning. And this is, I guess, the reason that Jaylen Brown is able to receive that kind of money. They're winning. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They've been to the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? So, of course, they're going to get paid. They got to get paid. The Celtics are in a situation, and I'm not saying they made the wrong move. You know, they did what they had to do. If they didn't pay him, he's going to another team. And they become much worse. I guess my question is, did the Celtics actually get better this offseason? We're going to find that out. I honestly believe that they became. I was just on a show. I just did Off the Clock with my man Mike. If you're not following me on Off the Clock Sports, please make sure you subscribe to Off the Clock Sports. We're just starting the channel. It's growing. But I said, I feel like the Celtics have been gentrified. They had some grit. And Marcus Smart was the heart of the team. They had grit and heart. And now, KP is there, and they got a little more gloss and flaws. You know what I'm saying? We'll see if it helps them. We'll see if they become better. I don't know. I think they got a little bit softer. So now they've gone in another direction. Vaughn Allen. I mean, I think you get what I'm saying, though, Vaughn, right? I think you understand what I'm saying. Feel like they got gentrified a little bit. Not because KP is white. That's not the way I'm saying. Just talking about the change in mindset, change in style, and then now they got a big price tag in Jaylen Brown. You get it. You know what I mean? But anyway, winning matters. Winning matters. And if the Knicks are winning, it'd be hard to argue that you don't pay him, right? The coolest said, we make it past the second round, Sim, you're not paying $280 or $290 at least. You know what the coolest? You almost have to. You almost have to. If the Knicks make it past the second round, somehow, some way they make it to the Eastern, they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And now it's time to pay Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. How do you not? How do you not? And, from what it looks like with the Celtics, we'll bring this back to the Knicks, but with the Celtics, because they're championship contenders, they're okay with paying that tax. They're okay with it. Right now, the Celtics, they're at $177 million for this upcoming season. They'll be paying the luxury tax. For the following season, 24-25, with Jalen Brunson's contract, they're at like $182 million. Clearly going to be luxury tax. But you know what? They don't care. I don't think they care. And the luxury tax, and of course the luxury tax, that second tier of the luxury tax, put you in a hard cap situation. You know what I mean? So they're looking and saying, yeah, you know what? I think a lot of teams are looking and saying, when we're a championship contender, forget about everything that you lose, when you go over the salary cap and so on and so forth. We're going to use that luxury tax as a hard cap. And we'll spend to reach that hard cap. And I think teams are looking at it that way, which is one of the reasons why you see a salary like Jaylen Browns. And they must expect that the salary cap is going to rise. Obviously, it always rises, but that is going to rise over the next few years. Because now that they paid Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum woke up this morning, with dollar signs in his eyes. He knows he's going to get paid when it's his time. Right? I don't know about Kristaps Porzingis, but Jason Tatum is going to get paid when it's time. So then that brings you back around to Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. If one of them gets paid, listen, if they both continue to put up numbers, and when that time comes in 24, 25, you can't pay one and not, I guess you can pay one and not the other. But if between now and 24, 25, the Knicks make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and now both of these guys are up for a contract, either an extension or they both opt out. Yeah, the Knicks may be giving up close to $600 million. You know what I mean? They might be giving up close to $600 million. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But it's worth it if they are championship contenders. And I think that's the end-all, be-all right there. You know what I mean? If it's a championship contenders, that's the end-all, be-all. Hit him up, said, now y'all can kill that Jaylen Brown to the Knicks talk. Yeah, that's the first thing that I said. When I seen that this contract was, that's the first thing I said. Oh, that's it. That's done. That's a done deal. You can forget about that. You don't even have to worry about it. Because this regime has shown that, they're not, they're not spending money like that. You know what I'm saying? They like I said before, they're Dollar Tree shopping, man. They're bargain basement shopping, at least right now. Until that player comes along. I am one of those people that thought Jaylen Brown would fit the Knicks perfectly. I thought that, his style of play, his defense, that's what the Knicks are. And he would have fit that slot. He would have fit that wing position perfectly. But at this price tag, I don't see this. I don't see this front office going for that. Well, first of all, he's going to get that price tag wherever he goes, right? He doesn't have a no trade clause. So now that he signed his contract, wherever he's traded, if he were to be traded, they got to pay him. It's guaranteed money, fully guaranteed money, right? I don't know. Would the Knicks see him as a guy that can get them to the championship if you add him to Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson? I don't know. I think the Knicks would pay. Maybe they would pay for that. But now when you're talking about Jaylen Brown and trading for Jaylen Brown, you know what I mean? $52 million. That's the first year of his contract. Right? $52 million. So he finishes up this year's contract, 23-24 for $31 million. And then it jumps $20 million to 52.3. When you look at the New York Knicks contracts, two of these guys, two of the Knicks, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, are just a little bit more than half of what Jalen Brunson makes in 24-25. Right? So if you were to try to trade for Jalen Brunson, obviously one of Randle or RJ or Brunson is going, and definitely not going to be Brunson. It would probably, if you were going to trade for Jaylen Brown, and I think this contract lets you know he's not going anywhere, but crazier things have happened. But if you trade for a $52 million contract, someone like RJ is going in that trade, and then whoever else you have that can make up that money. So the Knicks have really, really good contracts for what these guys are doing in the league right now. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, and hopefully RJ Barrett's going to come along. The Knicks have some really good contracts. When you look across the league and you see what guys are getting paid, I mean, Julius Randle, like him or not, made the All NBA team. He made an All-Star team twice in 3 years. And this guy's making half of what Jaylen Brown is going to make in 24-25. So those contracts are really, really good for the Knicks. But they're not going to stay that good. And that's why I think, when we talk about Jaylen Brown and whether or not his contract set the bar for the Knicks front office. Because both Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson are going to look and say, man, I've been playing at this level for a bargain. For a bargain. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get paid. J. Rule said, first they need to bring the Knicks to the promised land. And if Randle and Brunson win with the Knicks, then I say pay them. I agree with you. But let me ask you this. What if they make it to, you say the promised land? What if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? What if they make it to Game 7 of the second round, and it looks like in the future they can go past, Game 7? They lost a tight one to the Celtics, maybe. What do you do then? You know what I mean? What do you do then? Because, in my opinion, neither one of these guys are going to take a discount. They'd be stupid to take a discount, in my opinion. They're not going to take a discount to stay with the Knicks. They're not going to give the Knicks a hometown discount. They want to get paid. They see other guys getting paid. They're going to want to get paid too, especially when they've been playing at what seems like right now a discount for a while. You know what I mean? J. Rule says, say pay him. Kerry Cox says, oh, maybe I missed it. Oh, just wait until Tatum's contract is due. Yeah. Jason Tatum, when his contract is due, he's going to look and say, look what you just gave this guy. I want to get paid too. I want to get paid too. You know what I mean? And he's going to get paid. They're going to have two guys making this kind of money within the next couple of years. The Celtics better hope. They better hope that they win a championship, and they better hope that the salary cap rises over the next few years. Jaylen Brown, Ricky Beaver said Jaylen Brown is making almost twice as much as the GOAT made when Jordan was playing. Yeah. I mean, this is what these guys signed up for. I mean, and think about this: if he's making $304 million over 5 years, and 50% of that's going to go to taxes, but I don't care. If he's making $304 million over 5 years, what do you think the owners are making over that same 5 years? And you got to look at it. That's part of everything. It's all a business, so that's part of everything. With Damian Lillard, the reason why the Portland Trail Blazers were able to say, all right, we're going to go ahead and pay you, what's going to be $62 million in the final year of his contract, because he's a draw and he brings money to Portland. You know what I mean? Same thing with Jaylen Brown. And plus, the Boston Celtics are the Celtics. One of the more storied franchises in the NBA. So people are going to buy their jerseys. They're going to the games regardless. Jaylen Brown there helps to produce more revenue. You know what I mean? So, they're going to make their money back as far as, the Boston Celtics as an organization, as a franchise. They're going to make their money. That's without a doubt. That's without a doubt. Yeah. Kerry Cox said, now y'all see why Dolan refuses to sell. Exactly. Why would he? Why would he? You know what I'm saying? I mean, $3 billion organization? He's not going to sell that. I mean, nuts. Unless he's ready to retire. And even then, he'll have somebody else run it. You know what I mean? I mean, actually, when you talk about Madison Square Garden, there's already a board that really runs the organization. Dolan doesn't have to do much. So, nah, he's not going to sell it. No way, no how. Big commodity said the bag is out there, on with the players getting as much as they can. Yeah, me too. I'm with the players. Get as much money as you can. Make your money because when you can't play anymore, the league will be through with you. Done. You'll be over in Istanbul somewhere when the league is through with you. So yeah, make your money. Make your money. Keith Turner said, I don't ever want to hear a story about how Jaylen Brown went broke. That's not even, no doubt, that's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen. As a matter of fact, you all probably seen it a couple of days ago, or maybe a week or so ago. He put out a video dancing to, a remake that he did of one of 50's songs. And I'm like, I never seen this with Jaylen. Now I know why I seen it. This man knew he was about to get paid. He knew he was about to get paid. JJ said everyone gets paid except NFL running backs. You're right. And that's something that I want to talk about on Off the Clock Sports, man, because that's a serious issue. That's a serious, I mean, in perspective, of course. In perspective, you know what I mean? It's a serious issue. But yeah, running backs, their value drops. First 5 years, their value was gone. Their value was gone. So I don't know, folks. Tell me, what do we do? I guess the Knicks right now they're in a good situation. They're in a wait and see type of game. How does Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson perform? Uh, RJ Barrett, his contract goes 2 years beyond both of those guys' contracts. So you got a while to go with RJ Barrett. But there's a lot of guys around the league looking and watching. I remember when this happened with Mike Conley, right? Mike Conley signed, at the time, the richest contract in NBA history. He hadn't even made an all-star team. Hadn't even made an all-star team. And he signed one of those contracts, which looks like pennies now. Contract looks like nothing now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the way the NBA goes. As long as the league keeps making money, teams keep making money, these guys will continue to get paid. Continue to get paid. Big commodity said, remember when Spree said he couldn't feed his kids with that contract offer? Yeah, I remember that. That was bad taste right there. No pun intended, but that was bad taste. That was real bad taste. I can't feed my kids. What was he thinking about when he said that? He was bugging. He was bugging. Anyway, man, Trevor Keels, ladies and gentlemen, as we all thought, the kid Trevor Keels got waived. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that he's not able to, play for the Westchester Knicks. He can still play for the Westchester Knicks, and the Knicks can still, be able to monitor his development. Right? They can still monitor his development, but I think we all knew what was going to happen when, when we seen like this summer league was critical for Trevor Keels. He's still very young, right? Still very young. He's still has a chance to maybe make it in the league. He's 19 years old, right? So he's going to have a chance to make it in the league. But this summer was big for Trevor Keels, and he blew it. You know what I mean? It doesn't help that he was being played out of position. You know what I'm saying? In the summer league, it doesn't help. But still, you got to do what you got to do. You got to. I mean, when you look at this picture that you see on your screen now, he was much chubbier than when he came in the summer league. So maybe he did at least do that, right? Maybe he did at least do that. But yeah, Trevor Keels. You said Kerry Cox. You said Keels is going back to Westchester. Yeah, no doubt. He'll probably be back in Westchester. But he lost his two-way deal. Right? He lost his two-way deal. The Knicks have signed Dylan Windler, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. Right? You guys have probably heard about it already, but they signed Dylan Windler to a two-way contract. You know, who knows how the Knicks are going to handle these two ways, but Trevor Keels, man, he had the chance. He had the chance to claim it in the summer league. You know, he had a chance to claim it, but he just didn't do it. Now they do retain his G League rights, so he will be in the G League for the upcoming season. And then if he gets a contract with somebody else, you know, that'd be good for him. You know what I mean? JW said he was not progressing as a player. Yeah, that's true. At least from what we've seen, it doesn't look like he was progressing as a player. You know, again, though, they did play him out of position in the summer league. He's not a point guard. They played him at point guard. He's not a point guard. We'll see what happens with Trevor Keels, you know, as far as how things go with him, you know, in the G League and in the rest of his time playing playing professional basketball. All right. The Knicks also added Nathan Knight, a guy who many believe could contend for that backup power forward spot. All right. Because to be honest with you, Isaiah Roby, you know, he had a couple of moments in the summer league, but I don't think he fully impressed the way that one would hope that he would have impressed. You know, so the Knicks bring in Nathan Knight, who could maybe battle for that backup power forward spot. Played in the league for 2 years. He's averaged 3.7 points per game. He made 38 appearances last season. To be honest with you, I don't think either one of these guys are going to end up playing with the New York Knicks. You know, I think that the Knicks will probably continue to look for, as the shoes drop. And, you know, this thing with Jaylen Brown isn't one of the shoes dropping, but as the shoes drop with James Harden and Damian Lillard, more things are going to happen. And then I think the Knicks will be there looking to, you know, find a power forward that's dropping somewhere. You know what I mean? Find a power forward that's dropping. Blue Hefner said the Knicks ain't do nothing this offseason to get better, but add more of Brunson's college friends to this team will be a disappointment this year. Fire Tibbs. Okay, so a lot to unpack there. So you're saying the front office didn't do anything but fire Tibbs? Is that what you're telling me, Blue Hefner? The front office didn't add who you wanted them to add. So let's fire Tom Thibodeau because the front office didn't add these guys. I don't know. Seems like that's the front office if you think they didn't add. But Dante DiVincenzo is not a nobody. I don't want to front on Dante DiVincenzo. I know he's not the type of guy that you probably wanted the Knicks to add, right? Um, but I think he can silently help really make this team better. Like it or not. Oh, Blue, you're saying fire everybody. Okay. I think silently, though, Dante DiVincenzo can help make this team better. The defense that he brings from that position, the shooting that he brings from that position. You know what I mean? No hate on Obi Toppin, but he's going to bring it. He's going to bring more ball handling. Obi didn't bring ball handling. He's going to bring better shooting, I think, and he's going to bring better defense. Now, obviously, we still need someone from that position, right? But in that second unit, if you think you added the same amount of scoring that you already had, but better defense, and maybe a guy that can still even, give you more scoring because maybe he fits what you do a little bit better, then you can add someone from that backup power forward spot that plays defense and can shoot a little bit, then maybe you've upgraded your basketball team. Not to mention he has a better basketball IQ. So I'm not ready yet to say the Knicks haven't gotten better. They may have gotten better. We got to see how it works and how it fits. But they may have gotten better. Big commodity said, we all want a superstar, but what about just getting a solid backup? I think the argument there, and I'm playing devil's advocate right now, big commodity, is that the Knicks have a bunch of solid backups. You know what I mean? They have a bunch of solid backups. So I think that's the argument right now. That you don't need any more backups. You need to cash in some of these backups and get a star. But do you just go get a star just to get a star? Do you go get a star because this guy has a name? No, I don't think so. The Knicks have been there and done that, right? Trying to go grab a guy. I don't think you don't just go get a star because he has a name. That's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. Now, the front office has to choose who they believe is the right guy. And if they choose somebody that's wrong, then it's on the front office. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be kind of smart with what you're doing. Can't just go out there, I'm gonna just go add this dude because, this dude is a star. Supposed star. There's a lot of guys that's supposed to be stars when they get to more competitive teams are no longer stars. You know what I mean? Hit him up. Said the Knicks is being too patient. They passed on Bill, Levine, Cat, Harden, Donovan, and Donovan Mitchell. Well, first of all, I'm glad they passed on Harden. Hit him up. I hope that you did not want James Harden on this basketball team. I think that would have been a terrible fit. Not fit. He would have, I don't want to say terrible fit. James Harden is still a good basketball player. Not what the Knicks need right now, in my opinion. Just say that. Not what the Knicks need. He's wishy-washy. You don't know what he wants. I mean, this man wanted out of Houston to go to Brooklyn. Then he wanted out of Brooklyn to go to Philly. Now he wants out of Philly. So James Harden, no, I'll pass on that. Bradley Beal. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I like Bradley Beal. I do. I don't know if he was worth the amount of money that he had, and plus you inherit the no trade clause. I don't know if he was worth that, in my opinion. I didn't feel he was worth that contract. And I don't know how if the Knicks acquired that contract with what they have, I don't know if the Knicks have enough to put more pieces around them. And I don't, and if you're replacing, if you had to trade a RJ to do it, how much better did you get? Zach LaVine, his contract was much better than Bradley Beal's, shorter than Bradley Beal's. Apparently, the Chicago Bulls wanted a lot, had a heavy asking price, and the Knicks ain't willing to pay that asking price. The one thing that I say about Leon Rose and him being an agent, I think maybe he is, and because he was an agent, is skilled at valuing players. You know what I mean? Because he's negotiated from the other side, not just from the Knicks. This is brand new for him still. Well, 3 years in or whatever it is, but he's negotiated from the other side. And I think there's some credence to that. Part of the reason maybe that this regime has been able to find value in later rounds and stuff like that. Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, there's question marks with all of these guys that you have up on the screen right now. I don't think any of these guys are a sure thing to get you to the Eastern Conference Finals or win you a championship. I don't know. I don't know. Who in the league right now that's available or is a surefire guy that's going to get you to the championship. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I dig what you're saying about the Knicks being patient, right? Blue Hefner says Sim don't want any good players on the Knicks. It's not just about good players, though. There's more to it than just good players. There's more to it than just that. There's a lot of good players in the league. But it's more to it than just bringing talent together. You got to bring in talent that fits. You got to bring in talent whose, personalities can work together. You got to make sure that the money is right so that you can add to the team uh, in the future and you can continue to grow and get better. So it's more than just good players. It's more than just that. You know what I mean? More than just that. And who says, listen, I know we're in July. August is right around the corner. There's still time for a move to be made. I'll tell you what, though, if the Knicks haven't made another move as far as trading for a player, which I don't think they're going to do, I think this is what you see is what you get right now, I think, for this New York Knicks team. There may be some perimeter, not perimeter, but smaller pieces added, like a power forward. But right now, what you see is what you get. And I think that's what it's going to be going into the regular season. They're going to try to find something with Evan Fournier. You know what I mean? I was listening to the Queen's Court last night. Big argument about Evan Fournier. And who was right, who was wrong, and all of that. Bottom line is, I think the Knicks are trying to move Evan Fournier. I think they want to try to get him into a spot that's good, for him. And I think that's just part of, how this front office wants to move. That's part of Leon Rose being an agent. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get you in a good spot. I'm going to get you in a good spot. Because you don't want players across the league saying, nah, you don't want to go to New York because, they're going to send you to a dumpster. They're going to send you out in East Bum somewhere. You know what I mean? You don't want that because it makes it tougher for you to sign players. So if they can help guys get into good situations, you build that kind of reputation around the league. So I do think the Knicks are going to move on from Evan Fournier. They're going to find a way to move on from Evan Fournier. The discussion that they were having last night, about whether the Knicks should send him home if they're not able to find a deal for him. For me, I guess If the Knicks can't find a deal for him, I don't want to just do anything. Oh, I can't. Oh, I'm just gonna. I would. I'm just gonna take. I'm gonna take back a bad contract or give away a first to move Fournier, and I'm not doing that. You don't do that. I don't think you do that. It's got to benefit your team. You know what I'm saying? It's got to benefit your team. So I think they are looking to find a way to make sure that whatever happens with Fournier, he's in a good situation, but it also benefits the Knicks. Obviously, if Damian Lillard is on the move, the Knicks, I'm pretty sure, are trying to say, hey, we got $18 million sitting here. We can help facilitate some. James Harden, Damian Lillard, whatever. Maybe they're not bringing back the star, but they can still, find ways to improve the basketball team by doing so. And as far as Evan Fournier, I seen the reports. You know what I mean? He's happy that he's about to be playing and all of this. They were arguing. They were having a discussion last night about, the communication between Tom Thibodeau and Evan Fournier. And I agree with Steph in this one. I agree with Steph. I agree with DJ Shuttle, Tony. If you have a discussion with the coach says, you're out the rotation. You're out the rotation. How many times do I got to tell you you're out the rotation? Until I come to you and say, you're back in the rotation. You're out the rotation. You're a pro. You've been in the league for a while. Stay ready because you know how things can change. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. I think Evan Fournier is pouting a little bit. And it's probably more than just pouting, too. You know what I'm saying? He probably heard some things from the front office, about the ability for them to move him or maybe some places that they're thinking about moving him or whatever. Or maybe saying, hey, if we can't move you, this is what we're going to do. And so maybe he's sending a message too. That's how things work sometimes. But for the most part, listen, it happens to players throughout the league every single season. Do I think the Knicks could have used him in the playoffs? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. But I think that Evan Fournier is pouting a little bit. Blue said, Thibodeau don't know what to do with a three-point specialist on his team in today's NBA. Let that sink in. Okay. All I'm going to say is, if that's what you think, cool. All I'm going to say is the proof was in the pudding. Right? You can't argue with it. Because when he sat down, Derrick Rose sat down, the team got better. And I'm not blaming just them. It has to do with rotations and a bunch of different things. But they got better. If the Knicks didn't get better, they didn't make the playoffs, they didn't make it to the second round, then you could say, man, this guy had an $18 million guy that can really shoot the ball that didn't play. Because Evan Fournier playing, in my opinion, was not going to take them to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think. I think that Eric Spoelstra would have found a solution for that too. The Knicks just weren't as good at that point. They got to get better. Maybe he helped. I would have played him. If it were me, I would have played him. I would have given it a go. Because we were really suffering in that shooting department. But also, if this guy's gone, maybe he's just like, you know what? We're going to rock with who we got, and we'll figure it out next year because he's out of here. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He said, no way in hell a player like D-Rose sits and your team gets better. It was the coach using these players wrong. Tom Thibodeau and D-Rose have been together for years. for years. Tom Thibodeau's been in the league for years. He probably knows when a guy is maybe close to being done. I'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean? It's probably close. He probably knows. It ain't working. It's not like D Rose is, he ain't no spring chicken. It's okay. And every player has a shelf life in the league. And sometimes, with the Knicks, people say, oh, Kemba Walker. Man, Kemba Walker was done when he came to the Knicks. Done. He was done. That wasn't Tibbs' fault. He was done. The whole Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier thing, I think Tom Thibodeau and maybe even the front office realizes that it was a mistake. The Knicks tried to go in the opposite direction. They were defense, defense, defense. And they said, well, we're going to focus on just offense in the offseason. And it backfired, It backfired. I hope that Evan Fournier goes someplace and has a role and plays well and does all the things that he wants to do. But I don't, I'm not going to sit here and just say and act like Evan Fournier, didn't perform well. B-Baller said, Brunson went nuts. Are you going to say our winning was a result of Evan Fournier sitting or Brunson having an unexpected season? And what happens if any or all of Brunson Randall IQ steps back? Brunson did go nuts this season, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But when you look at the timeline and when these guys went out the lineup, that's when the Knicks started playing better. From December 1st to the end of the season, the Knicks were like a top 6 team in the league. And that's around the time that these guys came out. And I'm not saying it's solely due to those guys. What I'm saying is you can't argue it. It's hard to argue it because the team got better. It's hard to say it was the wrong move when the team got better. That's what I'm saying. How can you say it's the wrong move when they got better? JJ, I appreciate that. And maybe I do it. I should do it more often. I agree with you. I agree with you. But yeah, Brunson went off. That's what you brought him here for, hoping that he was going to go off. You brought the coach here to try to manage which players are going to be in a rotation or not. You know what I'm saying? And B-Baller, you just said what's going to happen if these guys take a step back. If these guys take a step back, so you're telling me for sure that Fournier was going to take a step up if they took a step back? He was starting when he began the season as a starter. That's how he began the season. Before they even went into, through training camp, Thibodeau was asked. And he said, I'm Evan Fournier. He got the nod. He couldn't keep it. It happens. Somebody's going to be better than you sometimes. Someone's going to be better than you. I think that's the way the NBA works. I just think that's the league, man. That's the league. I don't know that. I don't know if Evan Fournier is. I don't know if he's the answer. I don't think he's the answer anyway. He said not step up but contribute in some way. But we got to rely on Tibbs running dudes into the ground. Okay, so I really want you to go go to NBA.com and look at the players in the league that had the most minutes. See how many Knicks players are in the top 20. One Knicks player was in the top 20 where multiple teams had more than one guy in the top 20. I really don't think it's that. We always say it. We always say that. All these guys, this guy playing this minutes, this guy's playing that minutes, or whatever. And I just don't think it's that way. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? It's not that way. One guy in the top 20 in minutes per game. Now in the playoffs, yeah, I know he rode Jaylen Brunson like crazy in the playoffs. No doubt about it. It's the playoffs, though. It's the playoffs. You look throughout the regular season, when you talk about minutes per game, Julius Randle's at 19, the only Knick in the top 20. Boston had two guys in the top 20 in minutes per game. Portland had two guys in the top 20 in minutes per game. Toronto, three guys in the top 20 in minutes per game. Chicago had two guys in the top 20 in minutes per game. Julius Randle's at 19 in minutes per game. Jaylen Brunson was at 29. Those are the two highest Knick players in minutes per game. Then R.J. Barrett was at 46 in minutes per game. Looking at it as we speak. So, about Tibbs running guys in the ground, I don't know. I don't know. Kerry Cox said, that's the Toppin fans crying about that. I want to ask a question about Obi, and then, I'm going to go on and talk about Lance wanting to be in New York. And you guys might have heard me ask this question, and this is no knock on Obi, right? But do you think Obi's going to get a raw deal in Indiana too? Right? And did he get a raw deal in New York? I think he could have played more minutes. I'm not going to lie. I think he could have played more minutes. Right? But in Indiana, it sounds like, they were looking at Pascal Siakam. If you got Obi, why are they trying to go get Pascal Siakam? It's going to be crazy if they end up going and get a Pascal, and then now Obi's playing behind Pascal too. Number one, what would that say about Obi? But then number two, that'd be tough for Obi. That'd be tough for Obi. I want Obi to get his minutes. I'm not gonna lie. I want Obi to get his minutes. I'd like to see him do well. Blue said Obi's gonna ball out in Indiana. Trust me, I hope that he does. I really do. I hope he balls out. You know what I mean? Hope he gets it done. Hope he does his thing out there. Hope he does his thing. Nick Yak said the Pacers are already looking to upgrade. JJ said Indiana just drafted a power forward, Jarace Walker. Obi's going to have to earn his minutes. Yeah, he's going to have to earn them. No doubt about that. King Matthew said he might be the same amount of minutes or even 13 minutes tops. Yeah, I mean, what does that say? I'll just say this. If Obi goes to Indiana, I think Obi's going to, if they don't pick up a guy like Pascal Siakam, I think Obi will be the starter. But if he's still coming off the bench and he's only getting like 13 minutes a game, we got to kill all this other noise about Obi, Obi and Tibbs and all of that. I think we got to kill it. Lance Stevenson, ladies and gentlemen, said that he wants to come back into the league and he'd like to play for a New York team, either Brooklyn or the Knicks. I mean, I don't know where Lance. I don't even know where Lance has been. I think he played something overseas or something like that. I'm not with it. Or go to Brooklyn, but don't. He's from Brooklyn. Go to Brooklyn. Don't come to the Knicks. You know what I mean? I don't even know if he's still that same dude. I don't know if he's still that same dude, but I don't even want to take the chance and mess around with him, man. Go to Brooklyn. Hoop ball out over there. You know, um, go out. Go do your thing over there in Brooklyn. Make him dance in Brooklyn, but stay away from the Knicks. I don't think Leon Rose will give him. This is what I've noticed about Leon Rose and this coaching staff or front office. They're not in the reclamation projects, right? Phil Jackson felt like not Phil Jackson. Well, Phil Jackson a little bit. The first thing Phil Jackson did when he was hired is go get Lamar Odom, right? But when you look at Steve Mills and Scott Perry and them, they seem to be all about reclamation projects. Not all about it, but and I guess when you're young, when you're a team like the Knicks were and didn't have any talent, you had to try to go untraditional routes to get talent. They tried to reclaim Moutier, right? Dennis Smith Jr. I know there were a few guys they tried to reclaim. A little short. I can't even think of his name now. He went and played for Dallas. He got traded to Dallas. Try to help him reclaim his career. That regime was all about reclamation projects. This regime, they're not having it. You know what I'm saying? They don't. They. It's like we want you to come. We want good character. We want you to be ready to ball. We want you to stay in shape. We want you to stay ready, Evan Fournier, in case your name is called. Stay ready. You're saying like they want guys with that mindset, not reclamation projects. And Lance would be kinda a reclamation project. Knicks 100 the GM said it's cheap labor. That's true. That's true. It is cheap labor. Uh, you know, if you can get a guy in who's had a rough time in his career and help him reclaim his career, you know, you you know, there's a chance that you get high value for a little bit of money. Um, I just don't think this organization is into it right now. I don't think this front office is into reclamation projects, and they do it all over the league, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? I just don't. We haven't seen it yet. Who we haven't seen it, and I don't know if you want to count. Uh, we haven't seen it. You know what I mean? I can't. I don't remember anyone that they brought in to try to help them reclaim their career or figure that this guy was kind of done. Now we're gonna bring him back and see if we can help him get back on top. I don't see it with this regime. I don't think they will. I think this regime is going to continue to focus on guys with high character, guys that can, young guys that they can help to build, and then guys that can come in and produce right now. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what this regime is about. You know what I mean? I think that's what this regime is about. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's my time for the night. Looks like maybe I froze up. Maybe things ain't going through. I don't know. I don't see the chat moving anymore. So hopefully, hopefully, oh, there we go. Okay, best of the worst. So maybe the chat is still cool. Maybe you guys were just sleeping because it is 1:13 a.m. So Kemba was the last one we brought in, but that was a failed experiment. Best of the worst. I don't even know if that was if Kemba. I don't know if Kemba was. I mean, was he a reclamation project? I hate calling these guys projects, but I hate saying it like that. So maybe I shouldn't say a reclamation project, but was he a guy that the Knicks were helping to reclaim his career, or hoping that he would reclaim his career with the Knicks. I don't know. Maybe. Kevin, you said it froze for a second. That's what I thought. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna get out of here anyway. I know Kerry Cox said the service was unavailable, but now it's back. Where I'm at, the internet's not that good. Even though I'm plugged into the Ethernet, it still isn't that good. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit tough. But I'm going to jump on tomorrow night. Might be late again, might be around this time, but I'm going to jump on just so we can chop it up and talk some Knicks. You know, I have some other things on my mind that I want to talk about, so I'll come in with some of those things. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. And I'm going to go ahead and, well, I got a couple of things I got to prepare for tomorrow. Then I'm up out of here. Well, I'm up out of here now, but so I can go prepare for those things. You know what I mean? Big Commodity said you got to upgrade. This ain't my spot. You know, when I'm at home, I got the fastest internet I can get. Here, let's put it like this: at the end of my training yesterday, right after we were done, I was doing some more work, and their internet, it came up and said, I got a message that said the internet bill was late, so they had to cut it off. And I was like, dang, I mean, the place that I'm staying at, their internet, we had to go to the front office and say, yo, I think your bill is due. Y'all need to pay your bill. You know what I'm saying? And they tried to blame it on us. It's like, finally, they got the guy in to come in and pay the bill, and they got the internet back up. Crazy stuff. You know what I mean? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I appreciate your time, and I will definitely see you tomorrow night. Probably another late show like this. Seems to be the only time I'm going to be able to get it in this week. With so much stuff that I got to do. But anyway, I'm out of here, folks. Appreciate you. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.